Welcome, dear viewers, to Couch Warrior TV on YouTube. I, of course, am the Couch Warrior, and you are watching a channel update. So what are we going to talk about today? Today we're going to talk about Content ID and what that means to you as a warrior, and what it means to me and the Couch Warrior YouTube channel. To those of you who are unfamiliar with Content ID, it is a system by which YouTube is able to monitor whether or not there is content on a YouTube channel that would constitute a copyright infringement, right? So up until now, the only channels that have been subject to this Content ID audit have been non-partnership channels. So one of the big advantages, of course, to joining an MCN or a multi-channel network was that you could, in essence, avoid this Content ID audit. And what that means to a YouTube channel owner or a content creator such as myself is it means that we had the ability to upload a video and immediately monetize that video. That was one of the major advantages of having that partnership, really. Now, with the institution of this new policy, even channels that are part of a MCN are subject to these content audits. That in and of itself does not sound like that big a deal, but I assure you it is. I myself, as you know, am a content creator. I am addressing you because you are a regular consumer of the content that I produce, and I value your viewership. So I want to let you know kind of what this new policy change means for Couch Warrior and what it means to you, the dear viewer, and any changes that you're going to see in my channel coming up in the future as a direct response to this change in policy by YouTube. The content audit is supposed to be random. However, once turned on, apparently there were a lot of channel owners who had their content audited, including past content. So it went back and retroactively audited videos that were years old. Now, up to this point, I've produced, including this video, 155 videos. I am small potatoes by comparison. I do not use YouTube as a way to make a living. I am a game hobbyist. I'm a storyteller, and I use this as a vehicle for telling my story. So I do not have my livelihood tied to this YouTube channel. That's good for me. But there are others out there, people like Jessa, for example, who work very, very hard on their content, and they are trying to make a run at doing this as an income. And honestly, they're the content creators who have the most to lose with this policy. What is the policy? Well, the content audits are supposed to be random. They're supposed to be just a periodic look at your content, and then if you are found to have copyrighted content in your video, you will receive what is called a copyright notice. The copyright notice appears in your YouTube dashboard, and then if you have email notification turned on, which I do, you receive an email letting you know that there's a notice. You can go and check it out. It tells you exactly the video that's been flagged, and then tells you the point in the video that has been specifically flagged or is of concern. So in my case, I had one video out of 154 that was flagged so far. Essentially, the way that it works then is you have a couple of options. You can either acknowledge that notice and you can say, yeah, I have some copyrighted content here. I acknowledge that. Let's take some action. The action being, I will give my ad revenue to the person who owns this content, or I will pull the content down, I will change it, and I will upload it so that it's not in violation. The other thing that you can do is you can dispute a notice. Pick a classification for what your rationale is behind the fact that it's okay for you to use this content, and then you're able to submit some notes along with that and kind of explain why you might be may not be subject to the copyright notice, and then you submit, and then you wait, and you wait, and you wait. That's basically how it works. Now, if you fail in your dispute, there's a couple of things that can happen. Your content can be pulled down, or you can receive a copyright strike, or both. And the policy is that if you receive 3 copyright strikes, your channel's done. They pull you off, you are done. It ignores fair use rules, and if you're not familiar with fair use rules, basically what that says is that I can take a piece of content and I can do something with it. As long as it's transformational content, it's a transformational process, then I'm okay. So in other words, I could take Skyrim footage, for example, which I do all the time, and I add my own commentary, I add my own storytelling, and then I mix a selection of music based on various sources that I put with that. That is considered art. It's transformational in nature. It's covered by fair use. What the Content ID policy does, the way that it has been implemented, is basically it just ignores fair use entirely. Who actually owns the content then? The strange thing here is that YouTube has created a system for handling these copyright notices, but has essentially stepped away and washed its hands of all responsibility in the matter after that, and has essentially pitted small content creators like myself against music conglomerates or media conglomerates. Now I am at the mercy of some big company that claims to own the audio or a portion of the audio that is in my video. That gives them an inordinate amount of control over my content, and basically what it does is it keeps me from monetizing my content. I cannot monetize my content. I can't make a dime off it until this is resolved. If I choose to put the content up, if I choose to make it live, and people are clicking on my banner ads, clicking on the ads that Google and YouTube put in that video, all the ad revenue from that goes to these media conglomerates. Now, this is further exacerbated or made more frustrating, if you will, by the fact that as a member of Maker Studios, through its subsidiary N4G TV, with which I've been a partner for, well, since April. I have access to a library of music, a very deep library of music and sound effects, which I use exclusively. I do not put any music in my videos. I do not mix any of my own music from any sources other than materials that come from audiomicro.com, which I have free license to use through my partnership arrangement. Despite that fact, I am still put in a position where I have to always substantiate that the music that I am using in my videos is okay for me to use. To me, that makes no sense. Okay, so let's actually take a look at an example of what I'm talking about. What you're looking at right now is my YouTube dashboard, and this is the copyright notice page. The way that we actually get to this is we can link to it through an email notification, or from my manager's dashboard here, I will see this option here, copyright notices. This is going to show me all the videos that have current active copyright notices going on them. You can see the only one I have listed here is Chapter 15, Part 1. We can click here. It says Matched Third-Party Content. Let's actually have a look at this. Now, this is the current state as of today at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can see what I've got here are 4 copyright claims on this video. And the reason I'm showing you this is there's 2 reasons, I guess. One is that I think it's helpful to look at this and kind of understand what channel owners are looking at, what they're seeing. But I think it also illustrates very clearly several ways in which the way YouTube has implemented this content ID system is flawed. So the first thing that I notice here is that I've got 4 references, all for roughly the same time in the video. And what this is this is the close of Chapter 15, Part 1. This is a portion of the video where we have a series of dialogue pieces between Fleet and Haldir, and there is background music running through that entire segment. Once that segment is finished, then there is a slow walk to the port at the very end of the video as our 2 characters get on a ship and head back to Skyrim. As soon as the commentary or the dialogue piece is cut out, we have kind of this looping song that I'm playing, and I actually put that in myself. Essentially, I took the bass music from the collection that I have access to, and I looped it over several times, and as the characters get closer to the ocean, we can actually hear the sound of the ocean coming in. We can hear ocean birds, so I'm overlaying sound effects and music. So the first copyright notice I got was at 77 minutes and 29 seconds. This is at the moment that the dialogue stops and our characters start walking. Oh no, the first one was 77:25, excuse me. The next one was 77:29, 77:37, and 77:41. And so as I go back and I review each of these, what appears to be happening is that each time I progress through the loop and start the loop over again, there's a new claim. And to make things more confusing, I've got claims from 2 different companies here, some of which have the name of the song incorrect. So if we look at the first claim, AdRev has claimed that this is a song by Sonic Farms called Where the Forgotten One Dwells. And they claim to be the administrators of that recording. I don't know if they have a legitimate right to be administrators on that recording, but the song is indeed Where the Forgotten One Dwells. That is the correct song. So that takes us through loop 1. AdRev wants the revenue from this video for the first instance of my loop. Now we proceed into the second loop. Apparently, the second time the song plays, it has suddenly somehow changed its title. Now it is a song called In Another Dream. And CD Baby is claiming rights to that, which is incorrect. That is not the correct song. The correct song is Where the Forgotten One Dwells. So then we go into our third loop. CD Baby attempts to claim this song again. Please understand, this is the third time through of a loop of exactly the same melody, except this time they're calling it a different song entirely. Now they're calling it a song called Last Departure, and I don't even know what that is. Never heard of it in my life. And then finally we go into our fourth and final segment, our fourth and final loop. Again, we have AdRev, Where the Forgotten One Dwells. At least they got the song name right. So here we can see this automated system is inherently flawed. There's a whole bunch of claims going on here that aren't even legitimate. There's two claims here that are definitely not legitimate, and I question these two as well. These two at least have the name correct, but I don't know. They look like they're different entries from the system, right? This one lists Sonic Farms first, Where the Forgotten One Dwells Sonic Farms. The second one lists Where the Forgotten One Dwells Sonic... Like, it's like somebody put in the same claim more than once, and the data entry system was too stupid to recognize there was a duplicate record. That's what it looks like to me. Okay, so that's issue number one I have with this. And please understand, YouTube gets hundreds of thousands of video uploads a day. I understand that they can't have a human being checking this stuff. I understand that it has to be automated. But from everything that we're being told about YouTube and Google, they're the smartest people on the planet. How is it that they can't figure out how to do this better? How is it that they can't figure out how to keep CD Baby from making claims on my music that are completely erroneous? Totally false. Now, the other thing that's bad about the way this system is implemented, as you can see, this claim process for me, the first notice that I received was exactly a week ago. So this video has been held hostage by these third-party publishing companies for, so far, a week. And until this last dispute is resolved, it will continue to be held. And you know what? I never got into this YouTube thing for the money. It was all about telling stories and so forth. If I was in this for the money, I would be doing all kinds of different games. I would be doing reviews. I would be doing all that stuff. I make a good living as a consultant. I don't need to do this for a living. I do it because it's enjoyable. So this isn't about the money. It's about the principle of the matter. The fact that I am guilty until proven innocent, and until I can prove that this claim is bogus, AdRev is making all the money having to do with any advertising on this video. And that just eats at my craw, because they don't need that money. It's not theirs. And I have acquired all of the content that I put in my videos legally through my network partner. So, that's the rub for me. I am very disappointed. I'm disappointed in YouTube. And I'd say if they had put even a fraction, of the amount of effort into taking care of their content creators that they put into taking care of these supposed copyright holders, YouTube would be a much nicer, much friendlier place. If you're a company like YouTube and you have the brain power in-house to actually create algorithms that can look at a video and determine the song, who owns it, at what point in the video it plays, and can separate all that from other ambient noise inside the video, you have to be at least sophisticated enough to be able to look at a channel owner, the network they're in, and understand whether or not they have a pre-existing arrangement for licensed content and whether or not the content they have in their video is part of that library. I think the thing that bothers me the most in all of this is the fact that I consider myself to be a content creator, a channel owner who has done everything I possibly can to avoid this scenario, to follow the rules, to do the right thing, to make sure my music is licensed, to make sure that I don't have copyright issues on my content. And despite all those efforts, I can still have some nameless, faceless media company holding my content and actually profiting on my content should I release it to the public. That just seems wrong to me. So what does this mean? What it means is that going forward, I will be uploading my videos. I will attempt to continue to work the way that I have been, but I will be uploading my videos and I will be placing them on my channel in private mode. And I'll just let them sit there. I'm just going to let them sit there and marinate. We'll see if we get any copyright hits, and if I can be reasonably sure that the disputes have been resolved, then I will release them, and hopefully they will monetize and I will be okay. The worst case scenario would be that I would have to produce my videos with no original music in them at all. And when I say original, what I mean is, royalty-free music, multiple tracks and sound effects that I mix together into my own creative work. So it would mean that I would have to start producing my videos with no music. And I think that everybody knows the impact that music has in the way that I tell my story. The worst scenario would be that the N4G TV network, given that it's such a young network, it's just getting started, would fold up and I would be left without a network partner, high and dry, no access to music, nothing. At that point, I just shut down my channel and I write a book. What does this mean for you, Warriors? Well, I'm here talking to you about this because I want you to know what's going on. I don't want there to be any surprises for you. I want there to be transparency between us. So it means that you're going to have to wait longer for episodes, at least initially. And it also means that my release schedules are going to be much more erratic, as most of you know that I've been releasing pretty consistently every couple of weeks on Sunday nights. There's something going on, usually. It means that things are going to be much more erratic now because I'm never going to know if some outfit like AdRev or CD Baby is going to come and hold my video hostage for a month. They can hold my video hostage for as long as 30 days without addressing my disputes. So it's going to mean an erratic release schedule and potentially, if things go very badly, much less interesting content. I want to wish you all the happiest of holidays. Please know that I am working on Chapter 15, Part 2. It will include music, most certainly. They all do. The question is, when will I release? And I will be sending out updates on Twitter as I go through this process. I will be putting it up privately and waiting and watching for any copyright notices and attempting to resolve all of those copyright notices prior to a public launch. So if you're interested in keeping abreast of what's going on with that copyright situation, specific to Chapter 15 Part 2 and any episodes going forward, please feel free to follow me on Twitter, as I'll be putting all the updates out there. I want to thank you all for taking this terribly ugly journey with me, and may all that you do be swift, quiet, and deadly. And to all Skyrim assassins, I salute you. Silence is our battle cry. CW out.